Tease it.
Welcome to the 19th FRT Podcast. I remember this time because I wrote it down. I never remember. I'm Michael. We've got Shadi with us.
Hello.
And we've got Ali.
Hi.
Unfortunately, Rue can't make it because he's travelling to sunny Cornwall.
And getting into a fight with a suitcase, probably.
Yeah,
Yep.
probably. And unfortunately, Amy's a bit ill.
It's okay, Amy. You'll get through this.
You will.
And I hope everything goes good for Rue, of course. I miss my Rue boy.
Yeah, he's coming down to be in vicinity of me-ish.
Hey.
Yes, I should actually make an effort to go see him this time.
Yeah. Train travel.
Yay. So I was looking at the podcast because it occurred to me that we've been doing this for a while. Did you know we've been doing this for 8 months?
It's like, it doesn't even feel like 8 months.
I know. Well,
at
I
all.
was just thinking, 52 weeks in a year, we've got 19 podcasts, that's over half a year, so I just looked at it and I was like, well, shit. Yeah.
Hey, I think we should do something special for the anniversary.
Yes, if we remember to, but I'm terrible at anniversaries.
Yeah, that's the typical plan, is do something special for anniversaries, but, don't always remember.
It might be that, in like 8 months, I'm like, oh shit, the year has passed long time ago.
Would we be recording?
Well, not on the exact same day, but...
Yeah.
That would be cool if we were, but no, that's unlikely to happen.
Destiny. Speaking of, that came out the other day. Everybody's been coming in to buy that game, and when I was working, there was like the first hour that I was there, it was like barely anybody. Then I think around 4 or 5, just 20 people came into the store, and I was like, and there was like a lot of people like either buying PS4s or getting their reserves and like trading in. There was this one guy that was trading in his PS3, and I was trying to do that, and because I'm still learning like how to work the system, I was like taking a while, and I was like kind of panicking internally. I was like, I gotta get this done so I can give them their game and they can go home and play it. And I was like, ugh.
It sounds fun though.
Yeah.
It's cool that you're working in a gaming store. That's pretty cool.
I'm so happy there. Like, it's been 2 weeks and I'm just like, I've already like basically made conversation with a lot of the customers that go there about the video games. Like, this one person was thinking about getting the Mass Effect series, and I was like, you need to get it. Do it. Buy it. Absolutely do it.
Sounds a lot nicer than fast food.
Yeah.
Have you had any Euro girls yet, or
What?
has it been okay?
Oh, me? I thought you
Yeah.
were talking to Shaddy.
No. I don't expect that Shaddy would be, have his profession questioned for being a
Probably
girl.
not.
No, I kind of anticipated it, but not really. Because usually the last couple of times that I've been working there, I've also been working with my coworker Susie, and she and I have been like handling most of the customers. And then I think a couple of times, my other friend Randy was working there, who I've incidentally, I didn't know he worked there, and I've known that guy since like elementary, so it was really cool. But nobody's been really like, oh, if you're a girl, why are you working here? Like, to
That's
me.
good.
Everybody else been pretty chill about it. They're like, hey, it's awesome. I didn't know that you were into that game too. And I was like, yeah.
That's good. That's nice.
Yeah. It's a pretty chill environment. Like, a lot of the people there are just like super friendly with like, I mean, the only incident that I had was this one dad with his like kids that was trying to trade in this really fucked up copy of like some games. Like, somebody just like poured syrup all over the CD, and he tried to trade it in and said, oh no, it could just be cleaned off. And I was like, sir, we can't take this. And then he just got like really huffy with us, and at the end of it he was like, I don't like this GameStop, I'm gonna go to another one. And he just left, and I was like, okay, bye.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Basically, I didn't get my way, so I'm gonna throw a tantrum about it.
Yeah, he totally went like kid mode right in the middle of the store. And like, because again, Susie was there, and she's been working there a lot longer than I have. She handled the customer more. And then when he left, she turned to me, she was like, that is going to happen to you more than you would think. She's like, they're going to look at you, and because you look young, they're going to take advantage of that, and they're going to try to apply it to, like, your charming side and be all, like, nice to try to get you to take stuff that we cannot take in. And I was like, oh, shit. It's really weird.
Well, it's good that you held to your guns, stuck to your guns.
Yeah, I mean, got to, because we can't take in damaged discs.
I'm getting used to customer service because I spent most of my summer not dealing with customers because I was in the kitchen and way out of line of sight of the customers. Yeah. But now that school started and we don't have very many people working because it's really slow during the day, it's basically a tourist attraction that's mostly for kids. So not a lot of families come through at this point now that school started. And I have to go and work out with the customers doing the pizza side. So I get to actually deal with customers now, and it's really interesting.
Yeah.
See, I don't mind that, because I used to wait tables a bunch, and that was fine. I mean, you get the occasional arsehole, but other than that, it's fine. But now I don't have a customer-facing role, so the only dealing with any kind of outward-facing people is to basically reset passwords and shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or, like, tell them about a product if they call up and are wanting to buy it, like we do no proof of age, no sale.
Mm-hmm.
So which is age restricted products training. So if they want to buy it, I just have to tell them a little bit about what it's about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's really the only kind of like public facing kind of thing we do.
I have to deal with the fact that we actually don't have enough people to run all the locations at once, so there's 2 of us running 3 locations.
Oh no.
So I have to basically explain to customers, sorry, we didn't get to you right away, but the 2 of us were both dealing with other customers before I could run down to cover this location, and then he had to run around to cover my location and all this other stuff.
Yeah, that seems like a bad business model.
They don't.
Jesus
it's not
Christ.
busy enough to warrant having 3 people. They close one of the locations down usually after 2 hours, sometimes 3. So it's only open for a little bit, so there's no point in scheduling a 3rd person there for 2 hours.
Yeah, but why don't they just keep one closed rather than having you run around?
They're all on the same side with no distinction between them. It's basically like a food court setup where we can just run from the pizza to the snack bar to the sandwich location without
I see.
going around anything. So it's sort of just keep 2 people there and hopefully they're not busy in all 3 locations at once.
Sweet Jesus almighty.
So, I got Sims 4 because I got it for like £27.
You sound super enthusiastic about it, Michael.
Just resigned.
I'm just glad I got it for because it's like £60 to buy it from EA, so I'm just glad I got it for less than half price.
Right.
Because it's unfinished, is what I'd use to describe it.
Good.
Well, it's like, I don't know if you've played The Sims.
No, I have not.
I mean, have you played it?
Me? Yeah.
Yeah, because have you played Sims 2 and Sims 3?
Yeah, I played them on the consoles rather than the PC, but I don't think it's that much different.
Well, it is a bit, but it's not massively.
Right.
But the thing, because I'm talking about the development differences.
Mm-hmm.
Because in The Sims 2 and The Sims 3, it's like you buy the base game, and then the base game, it feels finished. There's lots to do, and it feels like they're not trying to siphon off all your money through expansion packs. But The Sims 4 doesn't feel like that. The Sims 3, it was always... with The Sims 2 and The Sims 3, it was always here's your base game, fully playable. It feels fully playable,
Mm-hmm.
And then that there's going to be, expansion packs for, holidays and pets and seasons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's fine, because that's what's going to come. But with The Sims 4, it's they've scaled back... they've scaled back the functionality that loads. So, you've only got... you've got way less careers in that. They've cut out the toddler stage of life.
What?
Yeah, you don't have toddlers anymore. There's no more swimming pools.
Oh no!
They've gotten rid of graveyards and ghosts.
What's left to the game?
There's no more open world and no story progression, so it's back to Sims 2 sat in a lot kind of thing.
Okay.
What's left to the game then?
So it's a lot like playing Sims 2, but they've cut out burglars, firemen, any of that.
I'm I wish you could see my expression right now. I'm like, why?
Yeah, they've seriously cut down on traits and aspirations in that as well. So like they've got a lot fewer lifetime aspirations and a lot fewer traits, and the idea is to make room for more, I guess, in the future, but it still feels like a lot less, you know.
Well, yeah, you
There's
start
no more
with a lot
cars
less.
at all. Not even like carpooling or like the taxis or anything. That's completely gone. The Sims just walk to an end of the lot and then transport to wherever they're going.
That is weird.
Yeah.
That is like, if why would you offer everything that the other game has brought? Like, why would you progress to that point and then just totally just go backwards like 3,000 steps?
Like the only really like they've had some interesting concepts. So like they've got an emotions thing now, so they feel emotions,
Right.
which is interesting because the feeling emotions lets them do things in that emotional state that they might not be able to do otherwise.
Okay.
So like if they feel sad, they can go. They have the option to go cry in a bed and stuff.
I saw that one post where it was like taking angry poop on Tumblr, and now it makes sense.
Yes. So they have emotions, but the thing is, so you know you've got your wants.
Right.
Like, so they've only got 2 wants at a time for normal stuff, and then they have 1 emotional want based on the emotion that they have.
Right.
But the thing is that in practice, this means that you just get cycling again and again and again. So, like, my sim gets a lot of focused emotions. So basically, that means that she cycles through wanting to watch chess, wanting to play chess, wanting to research on the computer, wanting to go to the library, and wanting to finish a book. And pretty much that's it. I mean, there's a bit more, but that's her emotional all the time.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and it's just a bit, well,
God, I feel like
it's just very repetitive.
yeah, I feel like this is just the initial presentation. I really hope that they offer more as time
Yeah.
goes on, because the game did just come out recently.
Yeah,
So-
I'm hoping they'll patch it, but really they should really, when they release a game, especially if they spent this much time developing it, they should really have it like, it should be better.
It should have a
Yeah.
lot of options from the beginning because that's what The Sims is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they've taken away a lot of, you know how The Sims always has like some kooky stuff and some weirdness to it?
Yeah.
Like the fact that you can invite the Grim Reaper to your wedding.
Yeah, like that kind of thing. They've really scaled back on that. So it's like they're going for realism, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
I don't really like. I've got my own life to live. I don't really want to realistically watch a sim go to work and come home, go to work and come home, go to work and come home.
Yeah.
Also, that's really like missing a big point on The Sims.
Yeah.
Which is the same thing with Skyrim, where you can just accidentally spend the next 12 hours playing it, basically.
Yeah, and then there's like there's the fact that the open world really does discourage you from going anywhere.
Right.
I mean, the lack of open world. Like,
Yeah.
even though the loading times are like really short and everything, and the saving times is really short compared to the Sims 3, it's like you're still not motivated to just, you know, have your sim go out because you've got to go to the end of the lot, they've got to do the loading screen, they've got to come back, you know.
Damn. Like, I remember being super excited when they announced Sims 4, like, a year or two ago, and I was like, yeah, I can't wait to see what they're going to bring this time. I can't wait to see how much we're going to be able to personalize and add everything else, including with whatever they've got going on. And then just hearing that they had taken out so much, it just like, I don't think I'm going to get this game.
Yeah, if you do get it, I'd recommend getting it like cheap, because it's not really worth the price that the price they've put on it.
Yeah.
It is very basic, and there are some interesting things. They've integrated build and buy mode, and I don't know how I feel about that.
That's odd.
It's odd. I think it works. I have to get used to it because it's always been separate. But
Yeah. That is
there's
weird.
they've also got an interesting thing now where you have to do tasks to get promoted.
Like, how so?
Well, like, it's not just a progress bar anymore. So you've got your progress bar of how you're doing, and then you've got stuff like, well, obviously you've always had to get a certain skill up usually, but then they've got stuff like, for example, my sim's in the computery one, so she has to write 2 apps before she can get promoted.
Oh. That's weird.
No, I quite like that. That's alright. I don't mind that one.
It's just, it's weird because it's like, I don't know, I got used to the other Sims. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't entirely fully grasp Sims 3. I was always really, really hooked onto Sims 2. That was my shit right there.
Well, if you like
So,
Sims 2, you might actually like Sims 4, because Sims 4 is more like Sims 2.5 than Sims 3. But I really liked Sims 3 because I liked the story progression that they did, because they had the they had automatic story progression on, so everyone in the town aged up and everything,
Yeah.
and had children and got married and stuff. Whereas in The Sims 4, it's static, so they don't do that, which I don't like. Because it's like if you see a cute teen, you can't be like, oh, I'll wait for them to age up and then they can marry my Sim. It doesn't work. Well, it sucks because like if you have a teenage Sim and they fall in love with another teenage Sim, when your teenage Sim ages up, then they can't marry their childhood, sweetheart. It's sad.
That is just kind of weird. Your Sim is the only one who gets older?
Yeah, unless only controllable Sims will age or do anything.
But they could still they still have the babies. They just go straight from babies to teenager.
No, they go
And
straight
then-
from babies to child.
Baby to child. And
Yeah.
then that's it.
Yeah, and also you can't walk around with your baby anymore. I don't think. I haven't had a kid, so I can't confirm. But the reports are is that it's back to I think it's Sims 1, where it's just a crib or a bassinet or whatever,
Oh, that's a shame. I liked walking around with the baby in Sims 3. I
and
had
dropping it away. Yeah.
no.
Also, apparently your Sims are kind of impossible to kill now because they haven't got any swimming pools, and I don't think they've got fires anymore.
I
Or
was
at least-
gonna say that. I was like, how are we gonna kill the Sims if we don't have the swimming pool anymore?
Just starve them to death in a room.
Oh my god. I had fuck, what was it? I just was on Tumblr, on my personal one, and somebody posted up a tweet between Katie and Jack, where Jack was saying that he heard Katie screaming in the other room, why won't you die?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess she made 2 of her own Sim,
Yeah.
and was trying to kill the clone or whatever, but it wasn't dying. And I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, a bit dramatic. So yeah, I wouldn't recommend Sims 4. If you like Sims 3, you're not gonna like it very much.
No.
Is the basic. If you like Sims 2, get it because you probably will like it, but it still feels a bit unfinished. If you want to ever buy an EA CD key, just get it on eBay. No, it goes really cheap over there, and they're usually legit. I mean, you have to pay attention to their score ratings to make sure they're not going to fuck you.
Yeah.
But I mean, most of the time it's fine. That's where I get most of my games if I'm doing it through Origin.
Okay.
So if we want to talk a bit about, well, I'll talk about the play I saw 2 days ago first. I saw Dead Dog in a Suitcase by Knee
What?
High Productions.
I have not heard of that.
What?
Oh, that's because it's an original play. Well, we went to Halligan Gardens, the Lost Gardens of Halligan,
Uh-huh.
and we saw Dead Dog in a Suitcase. And we also saw the big rhododendrons there as well.
Okay.
Wow. I don't know if you know about the Lost Gardens of Halligan, but it's really cool. Basically, they're gardens that were set up around the mid-18th century. And they were tended until about 1914, where 16 of the 22 gardeners went into First World War. And they unfortunately died.
Oh, I saw your post about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
16. So 16 of the gardeners died, and then the gardens went into disrepair and just became overgrown and abandoned, basically. And then the mansion, the Halligan house, was sold off to a private developer and became flats. And by that point, Halligan, the gardens was just wilderness. But in the 1990s, someone who inherited the garden came in and decided to restore it. So
Okay.
it took them years to do it, and they're still uncovering parts of it as they go. But yeah, it's really cool. So you've got plants down there that have literally been there for 150 plus years, and from 1914 until 1990, it was just unchecked growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Jesus almighty.
So you've got massive rhododendrons in there. There's this place on it called Flora's Green, and it's literally just lined with these massive rhododendron bushes.
It sounds like a place to go, basically.
Yeah, I mean you
If
could
you've got allergies, but I mean.
yeah, no,
otherwise-
it's really cool because they've restored it all. So they've restored the wells, and they've restored the grottos and that, and the vegetable gardens and the flower gardens.
That's a really impressive restoration.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they restored the sundial and the bird bath as well, and they restored all of the buildings because there's quite a lot of buildings on the grounds.
Yeah.
And they restored the emu pen and grabbed some emus as well. Well, it's massive as well. I can't remember how many acres it is, but you could spend all day there and not get around it. So
Oh.
Wow,
because
yeah.
the gardens themselves aren't massive, but then they've got the grounds, and then there's the jungle area in the grounds because one of the keepers of the garden was really enthusiastic, so he would buy in plants from all around the world, and then he created a jungle area.
Oh,
That is really
that's
cool.
so cute.
Yeah, and it has the largest rope bridge in Cornwall in there, which wasn't part of the restoration, but they put one in there.
It's in Cornwall?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Oh,
Because, like, gardens used to be a big thing down here. Still
Yeah.
are in a lot of places.
vacation plans.
But no, it's pretty cool, because normally I'm not a massive fan of gardens, but because I like history, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of history to it.
yeah. And it's quite interesting to just look around and realise, that this was all here, like, 200 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds so cool.
It is pretty cool. I really like it there.
Probably the closest thing we have is like, it was nearby where I used to live. It's like the Vizcaya Museum, and then it's like past the museum out towards the shore, they lead you to like the big like castle like area that used to be around when the Spanish used to be down here in Florida, and oh my god, like I remember going there, and that was probably the only place in my childhood that I loved going to because it looks so cool and it's so old. It was also like really hot. It was like super humid, but that's Miami. But it's like, I don't know, I really really liked going there and like looking out to the ocean and seeing like hearing all the history and seeing all like the parts of rooms that they tried not to like touch too much, so they kind of like roped it off so that we can just look but we can't really go in and see or anything like that.
Oh, Ali,
it's-
you would love Cornwall. You've got to come to Cornwall sometime because
Yeah.
it's filled with shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like really close to me, about 5 miles away, it's a Victorian house, and it's a manor.
Oh.
And it's got all the grounds and everything, so you can walk around the grounds that they've all kept. And then in the house, they've it's kind of like a museum house, so they've kept the house, but like they've put in like models and everything, and kept all of the little bits and bobs. So like you can go see a Victorian kitchen, and you can go see like Victorian bedrooms and play areas and stuff like that.
That's so cool.
There's a bunch of places like that in out east Canada that I remember visiting when I went there with my family a few years ago. Like lighthouses that you could go and explore that'd been around for like 200, 300, 400 years or something ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah, and then in Flabbards we've got the Victorian village. So basically, someone just basically bought in all this old Victorian stuff, and we're like, okay, we're going to make a Victorian village, and it's in the middle of a theme park, and it's been expanded upon over the years. So like, you can literally just walk around this Victorian village, like it's done exactly like it would be, and then you can walk around the buildings and walk inside the houses and the shops and stuff,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
Oh, that's so cool. I don't remember where it was, but I remember when I was a kid, they took me to like this old Spanish house, and it's kind of like one of those like square houses, like right in the middle of the area is just like this garden place, and I remember falling in love with it because it just looked so like beautiful, like, oh god, it was just like the flowers that they kept around everywhere in the little courtyard area. It was so cool, and I wanted to just like sit down, but then the teacher was like, we gotta go, come on, let's go look at the other rooms
Yeah.
and then go eat lunch, and I was like, okay.
Mhm.
And then I sadly looked at the flowers as we were walking away, like, I will never forget you.
Funnily enough, we were talking about Drojo Castle the other day
Yeah.
with Rue. Funnily enough, they called me up the other day at work and asked to be part of our underage sales toolkit.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, I actually said to her, me and my friend have been talking about you coming to visit.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was funny. Anyway, we got off track because I was talking about Dead Dog in a Suitcase.
Yes.
So it was a play we went to see. It's kind of a musical play. And honestly, I'm mostly just blown away at the talent because every single actor also sang and also played an instrument. And I'm not talking like, a triangle or anything. We're talking like violins, violins and cellos and things like that,
Right.
as well as guitars and keyboards and whatever. So they did all their own music. But it was a really weird story. And I couldn't get on with the main character at all because the first thing he basically did was kill a dog. And I'm like, he just killed a dog, why? And also a person. But I was more concerned about the dog, so I'm weird like that.
Yeah.
And then he was basically... It was all about political corruption because basically the story was that, like, this guy had paid McKeith, which is the main character, to kill the mayor so that he could become mayor himself.
Mm-hmm.
So McKeith killed the mayor, but then McKeith fell in love with the guy's daughter,
Oh no.
and they got married. But then McKeith had also gotten the chief inspector's daughter pregnant.
Oh no.
Okay.
So she's like 7 months pregnant and bitter as hell. And then there's just, a bunch of shit. And then he eventually gets put in jail because the chief inspector catches up to him. And then the daughter comes and gets him out of jail, but only if he marries her.
Mm.
So he marries her, and then Polly, which is the other dude's daughter, comes by and is like, why did you marry her? And he's like, well, I don't actually love you, I just want to get your fortune or whatever.
Oh my god.
And so she like puts chains around herself and jumps off a pier to drown herself, but then she actually survives it and becomes like the leader of his gang.
Okay.
And then tries to exact revenge in that, but she doesn't do it. And then finally he gets... Oh, and in between all this, there's a whole scene about sex workers, and like apparently he fathered like 5 babies off them and has to babysit them, which was a bit absurd.
Oh my god.
What is going on?
I know.
It was a bit of an odd one, and the whole thing he's talking about how he's not afraid to die or whatever. So he gets put back in prison, and then the new mayor, who contracted him out to kill the old mayor, doesn't want his secret getting out, so he's like he puts back hanging.
Uh-huh.
So McKeith is going to get hung, but then he tricks the hangman. He says he's done the knot wrong, and he's like, "Oh, I'll just show you how to do the knot." And then he's like, "Why don't you try it out?" And puts the noose over the guy's head, and then he hangs instead.
Okay.
Oh my god.
And then after all that, he shoots himself in the head at the end, and then everyone dies because the building blows up. It was just like, okay.
That is like
Let's just
possibly
go
the
for
best way to
absurd.
explain it. Yeah, it's just like everything escalated really quickly in like 2 minutes.
In really weird directions.
Yeah.
It was an odd one. It was pretty entertaining though.
Oh my god. That is okay. I don't know how to wrap my mind around it, seriously. Like I'm just sitting here like going from the beginning of the story to where you just finished it off where everybody just dies and that's it.
It's like it's following like a steady general progression in one direction, and then something happens and it just rockets off at like a 90-degree angle in both directions at the same time, and then just spirals
Until
off.
everyone
Crumbles. It
dies.
just snowballs. Completely snowballs.
It does, yeah. It was pretty weird.
Oh
I
my
didn't like
God.
Nikki very much.
No. I don't. From what I'm hearing, I don't really much either.
The guy that played him had pretty good stage presence, and it helped that he was pretty attractive as well, and he got his shirt off whilst he was getting police brutality.
Oh my god. I like at first when you said that you saw a dead dog in a suitcase, I thought you actually saw one, and I
Oh,
was
that
like,
reminds me. The whole thing, like the whole time, because they've got a set of suitcases, and so someone puts the dead dog in a suitcase. And like,
Title drop.
and so this dead dog, and because like they're all the same suitcase, like the suitcases kept getting switched around. Like every time anyone opened a suitcase, it would be the dead dog.
oh my god.
And they just slam it shut again and it get mixed up once more.
Yeah, exactly. And like they kept switching out the puppets, so the dog was getting more and more decayed.
It's just the weird icing on the cake of it's just one weird as hell cake. Oh my god.
So, did we... Oh, I wanted to talk quickly about the Humble Bundle, because I'll link it in the link down, but the Humble Bundle, it's got a Gone Home in it, and I know that a lot of people are interested in Gone Home, and it's also got this fantastic game called Steam World Dig on it, which I really recommend. I really like it.
It sounds cute.
Well, I haven't bought the bundle myself, because I've got literally all of the good games on it already.
Because you
Okay.
have like 260 games in your library.
Yes, and because I've already got Gone Home, and I've already got Steam World Dig, and there was another interesting one on there, but I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Is it cook, serve, delicious?
No, it's not. I might actually... excuse my
Damn
my
it,
noises.
Michael.
Oh, there's Prison Architect, which I didn't actually like at all.
Hmm.
Oh, Papers, Please is on it, that's it.
Okay.
What?
Papers, Please?
Papers, please?
Yeah.
You don't know that game?
No.
You play a border guard in like, or not a border guard, like the person who does like all the passport checking for this like made up Eastern Bloc country, and it is a big a satire or critique on how like border crossing and passports and all that work in modern times, because you have to start like getting all these really strict things where you have to try and get people through as fast as possible, but you have to check off a dozen different tasks and check everything over in so many different ways.
Right.
It just escalates more and more as like they put more and more stringent requirements on who's allowed through on this day and who's not allowed through, and you're supposed to look for these people and not those people and ignore these rules sometimes but not always.
Oh my god.
And you get in trouble every time you mess it up.
Yeah,
Oh.
or you might occasionally deliberately let someone through that you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Technically.
Is this a PC game?
Yeah, it's on
Oh.
Steam.
That's probably why I didn't hear it, because I don't play PC that much.
No, it was pretty much it took the gaming world by storm a bit, to be honest.
Yeah,
Really?
I've
Yeah,
seen
won a
it.
bunch of awards.
Yeah, there was one person I saw described it said it was definitely his favorite game that was released of the year that he can't ever play because playing it for a few minutes makes him so infuriated because he hates that kind of stuff so much in real life.
Yeah.
It was fun to play. I finished one ending, but I couldn't really be bothered to go through and finish all of them.
I don't think I would be able to play it, because I don't know. I would probably get really infuriated with it too. From what I'm hearing.
It's very attention to detail stuff, and like, but it's interesting because the way you play changes the outcome of things.
There's different
So, like,
events
'cause-
you can play through in that, yeah.
Yeah, so like you can help the rebels, or you can not help the rebels, and it all depends on a bunch of stuff. So yeah, if you want to check out the Humble Bundle, I recommend it because it's got a few good games on it this time, and there are more games to come next week. So yes.
I've been thinking about trying to do the Humble Bundle.
Oh, the Humble Bundles are great. I haven't bought one in a while, but yeah.
I got introduced to them like a while ago, and I was like, I should do this, and I kept telling myself like I gotta do this, but then I don't, and then I'm like, I need video games to play.
They have a Tumblr, so if you follow their Tumblr, they'll you'll be able to see what they've posted.
Yeah.
And also, you can subscribe to their mailing list, and they'll email you every time they release something. They also do
yeah.
comics and that as well, and books. So,
Aw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll totally look into it.
and like now they're doing like 4 things now. So they've got like the Humble Bundle, which is when they're big ones, which is they do about every 2 weeks or so. They've got the weekly bundle, so that's released every Thursday. They've got the book bundle, which again is every 2 weeks and usually features graphic novels or books or whatever. And they've got flash bundles, so those are daily. They don't do them every day. They'll just release the flash bundle every now and again, and it's available for like 8 hours or 24 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
And they've got like the Humble Store, so you can check the store for like deals and that as well. They'll
Yeah.
usually have things that are a bit cheaper than Steam, but it's always worth checking
Yeah.
if you're gonna buy anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the great thing about it is that like you can adjust how much you want to give to charity, because like they'll give some amount to charity, but you can adjust to give it all to charity. You can adjust to give some to charity, some to the developer, some to the website. You can do whatever you want. So
Okay.
it's pretty cool. Gone Home is really recommended. So
Yeah.
I've already got it. I really like SteamWorld Dig. I don't know if many people will like it, because but I have a real thing for like progression upgrade games, so I really liked it, and it's also got a pretty intriguing story, so
I'll look it up and stuff
yes, and
after the podcast.
listeners should look it up too.
Yeah. I got paid today, so I actually have money again.
I know, isn't that a
Hooray.
nice feeling? Isn't it nice to just be able to go,
It's
oh look,
so
Sims 4
nice.
for £27, I'm gonna buy it.
I actually have money to spend. Well, actually, I can't spend money yet because I have. Well, I mean, technically I am, but this is for school, for the freaking access code for my stats class. I can't spend yet, but whatever money's
Ali.
left, I'm definitely gonna get video games for.
Ali, check my resources tag.
Yeah.
There's some stuff
I mean,
about
there's like that huge long post about like text posts and access codes and stuff like that, and I've been like, I looked through it trying to see if I can get the book or something, anything that can get me out of paying $95 for that freaking code, because I hate it.
Yeah,
I hate
check
it.
out my resources tag, because there'll be some stuff in there about how to get textbooks cheaper.
Yeah.
Because I told her that before I got paid, I told her like, oh, I just started my job, but I'm not getting really paid much, and I'm kind of in a financial twist, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to, because everything we have to do online basically for the homework and stuff with the access code. And I told her I don't know if I'm gonna have enough for the access code or how much it was or whatever. So she told me that there was a 14-day trial that I could do. All these complications. I'm like, school, why? Like, I'm about to graduate from you. Why do you do this final fuck you to me? Why?
I guess you're gonna have to swallow and do it. It's bloody bullshit though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you pay like however much to get to this school, and enroll in tuition, and they expect you to pay like a bollocks more in order to do the work.
Yep.
I mean, okay, because the financial aid I got really lucky with. I had financial aid when I started, and that was when I was a little better off because it was actually paying for all of my classes and I didn't have to pay a single cent. And then it wasn't until after 2013 and I finally got settled into a new place after we moved and all that stuff, and now it's just me and my parents, that for some reason, because it's just the three of us rather than the 6 or 5 that we claimed back in our taxes in 2011, they're like, oh, so since it's less people, there's more money to go around, we're not going to give you as much money to support your education. So we're just going to, casually take off more than half, and now you don't have enough to pay for classes. And I was like, the lady had explained to me that because there's only 3 people that the taxes are claiming, since it is just me and my parents, they're not going to give me as much money. And I'm like, the money that they're giving me is not enough to pay for 1 class. And I have to take 4 for financial aid to actually be approved.
Oh, wow.
And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, why? Like, what does this make any sense? So then that's when I got into that whole deal with the loans. That was when I came onto the chat like panicking because I didn't think I was going to be able to graduate because I didn't have the money. And I was like, I wanted to see if there was some sort of way I can get through a grant or a scholarship so I didn't have to owe money after I graduated. But in the end, I was just like, fine, I have to do the loan thing. And I took out like $1,800 and I took out another amount. And again, financially just screwing me over because they haven't given me my loan, and it's already been over a month that I've asked for it.
What?
Yeah, I'm glad I'm done with the school and I'm graduating, because financial aid since I started at that school has been screwing me over in any way possible. Either they don't give me the financial aid in time, they're threatening to drop my classes because they're not paid for, or they're not giving me as much money because supposedly since there's less people, there's more money to go around, which is quite the opposite, because since there's less people in the house now, there's less money to go and support for bills and shit. So we're even worse off than we were back then.
Yeah.
So when do you graduate?
May. I already applied for graduation and everything.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. I was really relieved when it said that. Like, I almost started crying because I was like, I've finally, gotten here. And I'm finally, after everything that's happened in these last couple of years. I was supposed to graduate last year.
Yeah.
Basically. But because I didn't go to school at all in 2013, just for a bunch of reasons, between losing the house in 2012, moving twice, and just all this financial shit, just in general, it was just I could not maintain myself well enough to go to school. So I just totally ducked out. I don't know, I'm just glad that I got to here. And it's funny because I found out that the day I graduate, my boyfriend also graduates. And because we go to 2 different campuses in different parts of the city, we don't know if we're going to be graduating in the same area or if we're going to be graduating at the same time in 2 different places, which I would be super upset for because I don't want to miss this graduation.
Really suck.
Yeah.
Anyway, do we want to talk about Ruby?
Yes,
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. Before we start talking about Ruby, there's a new blog that's been launched. It's not affiliated with me or anything, but it's called Ruby Critical, and I'll link dump it.
Ooh.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, because I don't really personally follow Ruby that much because I'm not a big fan of anime or anime inspired things.
Mm-hmm.
So the person who ran Ruby Critical, I guess they're a follower of mine or something, but they noticed that I was just posting a lot of asks without commenting or anything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they decided to start up their own blog called Ruby Critical, where they can talk about Ruby specifically.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you watch Ruby, it's worth following.
Do it. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Right. So do we want to take on the queer baiting or the trans misogyny first?
Or what about just the general terrible treatment of half the female characters anyway?
Yeah.
Or we could do that. We could do the misogyny. We could do what's his name? Is it Jean?
Jean and Neptune
Jean.
both.
Yeah.
Jean and Neptune, and his relentless pursuing of one of the characters.
And
Yeah.
the line, if you want her, you can have her.
Yes, what a brilliant line. And then, wasn't there an Ice Queen comment as well?
Yeah.
Yeah,
one of the
that
female
was
characters.
a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah.
Like, this is where the male writers are really showing. You know?
Oh, even better, Jean and Neptune are voiced by Carrie and Miles, the two writers, and they're discussing back and forth which of them gets to have Weiss.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like someone's an object, like a woman is an object.
If you
right?
want her, you can have her.
I'm really upset because I was really excited for this season. I was really hoping there would be so much more, and fuck, like, what happened?
It's been a frustrating love triangle that's been mostly focused on one of the side characters.
Yeah. I mean, Shadi, you and I were discussing on Skype, like, when Yang talked about her past, we were like, let's kind of hold a little hope, because they finally divulged into a character that's not John
Yeah.
for the first time in the 2 seasons.
And Yang getting any sort of central focus from the series, which she got none of in the entire first volume.
Yeah. It's just, there's a lot that's circling in my head right now, just...
There is a lot to discuss with Ruby.
Yeah.
There's the comment by Monty that the
I
gay
think
relationships.
there's been a lot of discussion because he worded it really poorly, because he didn't mean that like the audience has to earn it. He meant that like he didn't want to just have it be poorly done or something.
Yeah, but the thing is what he's talking about. I mean, I understand that he doesn't mean that it literally that we have to earn it as an audience. But what I'm talking about is like, it doesn't work with the world that he's built, because in this world it's supposed to be that like LGBT and Mogai stuff is supposed to be like, not supposed to be a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's still very primarily cishet.
Exactly, and like the idea that like, because he's talking about what he's saying is that he wants us to grow up with the characters, and he wants the characters to find themselves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But look, most of them are 17, and I know that not all people know about themselves by the time they hit 17, but a lot of them are going to, even in our current world.
Mm-hmm.
And like in a world where like Mogai reputation isn't a problem, that means that the representation would be there, so that teenagers would be finding themselves a lot earlier. They wouldn't be like a coming out process, because it wouldn't be assumed that you're cis and het.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just don't think they thought it through.
Yep.
Which doesn't surprise me, because I doubt a lot of people, content creators, would think that through. But yeah, it's still annoying.
It's really disappointing. It's really incredibly frustrating, because that was one of my biggest frustrations, just the amount of queerbaiting that they've been doing this whole freaking show. And I'm really upset about it. Like,
the biggest thing with it is that they flat out stated that, oh yeah, we threw in these scenes specifically to appeal to the people who are shipping lesbian relationships. Specifically,
it was the shout out in that one episode, the fight scenes.
Yeah, where they used all the ship names. Or
Yeah.
the first 2 episodes where they had like Weiss and Ruby jumping into each other's arms.
But it's like, I think they just want more than shout outs.
Yeah.
And it's not just about shipping either. It's like the fact that they've literally said that they're going to consider putting in Mogai characters.
Yeah.
And then they have like the scene with the ball. And like
And
they
it's-
had such an opportunity to just have a couple of background couples or something. Just
Yeah.
a little like obviously it's not going to be like the most representation in the world, but just little things.
Mm-hmm.
Like background Mogai characters are really important.
They had a few more in the latest one, but it's all like not even guaranteed for sure, because it's sort of just like you see like a guy kind of talking to another guy, and then the same
Yeah, I
group
was thinking
the
about
same
that.
2 people hanging out again later. So you're like, maybe, but that doesn't actually, like, you're kind of guessing.
Yeah, see, if it's blinking you miss it, it's not good enough.
Yeah.
Like, unless they've got, like, people in the background, like, dancing and stuff as couples and that, I'm not happy to call that representation. It's got to be in your face, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sick of, like, the Disney version of representation, which is, well, there isn't any Disney representation, but the DreamWorks, for example, and one other reason with the gay character there, that wasn't good enough, you know?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And the trans misogyny in the latest episode, apparently, with Jean dressing up as a girl.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm so sick of that being played off for a laugh. And you'd think they'd have learned from the last time they made the, trans misogynistic jokes.
With Blake.
Yeah.
Which was in the last season.
Yeah. Because people weren't quite about that one either.
No.
That kind of plays into what you mentioned, where it's supposed to be that the Mogai community is supposed to be a lot more, widely accepted, and then they kind of like that. I think that's kind of also an indication where it's just like the complete opposite, because everybody's laughing at a guy in a dress.
Yeah.
And then if it had been not so much of a problem, then nobody would even bat an eye.
Yeah, no one would care about it.
Yeah. But it just shows,
or at least there'd be like
opposite.
reference to it in that.
Yeah.
Like someone being like, "This, what's so funny about this?"
From some of the reactions that I've seen, everybody was incredibly grossed out and angered and hurt, and a lot of people have given up on the show already, and it hasn't even reached the season finale.
Yeah, at least one person on my dash has given up on the show because of it.
I don't blame them.
They just straight up decided that they're going to stop watching it.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I honestly don't blame anybody who's going to stop watching the show after that, because that was really gross. It's just terrible. Like, honestly, I sat there cringing, and I had to skip the part.
Just like, I'm getting really tired of, this isn't what I like, even without all the terrible stuff. I'm not even interested in what's happening in the show all the time anymore.
Yeah. It's all about John. It's literally all about John.
Which was legitimately, like, my first fear with the show. Like, way back when I first watched Volume 1, I'm like, this is cool. Jean was alright back then. He was a little too much shonen protagonist, where he's got all this hidden untapped power, and he's surrounded by all these more experienced warriors that he could grow to overcome all of them, which is very shonen protagonist. And I was like, I really hope that this show doesn't become about him.
Because it's really not supposed to be in the first place.
No.
Well, the thing is that they're marketing this show as a show for women, for girls. And then they're doing the thing of, like, they're just focusing on a male. Well, he's not even supposed to be a protagonist, but now I suppose he is now.
Yeah.
He basically has become the protagonist of the show at this point.
He's getting more screen time and more character development and more character interaction than every other character, I'm pretty sure.
I'd be interested to see if someone would go through and just, like, count up how much
screen time he's taking up.
Yeah, compared to other people.
That would probably be a really good indication as to how much attention should really be put onto the other girls rather than on John. Because seriously, like, I can count maybe 3 or 4 episodes that have been about either from one of the team members in Team Ruby or Pyrrha, and I want more, like, I want more than just that. Like, there was some, like, with Ruby and Penny, which was nice, because it gives a good, like, idea of who Penny is and why she is the way she is, and how she's so, like, protected by her father, and just why she is, and all of that. And that's great. I'm glad that we kind of did not have to deal with John. Like, he's a great character and all, but there's too much of him, honestly. This is Team Ruby.
Well, I don't know if he's a great character after the shit he's pulling.
No, after all of that, just trying to claim Weiss and trying to push her into becoming his date. After all of that,
and the sheer hypocrisy in his calling out Neptune. It's like, but no. Well, I suppose it's not hypocrisy, see, because the point he made is that, don't you know how hard it is for the person you turned down? He argued it as, aren't you thinking at all about the other person's the other person's feelings? But in actuality, the call out was, don't you know how hard it is on the person you turned down? Which means he's basically comparing himself to Weiss there, saying, you did to Weiss what Weiss did to me, so, I know how hard it was for her.
It doesn't sound like I'm missing much, to be honest.
I'm honest, like, I'm at a point where I feel like I can't, in good faith and conscience recommend Ruby to people anymore, because it's like, well, so the show was like really kind of like good potential, a lot of interesting setup in that with the whole like big fight scenes, lots of monsters and everything, but then most of volume 2 has been dedicated to a boring love triangle between involving, that's mainly focused on a side character and barely involves the girl who's the
actual
title character.
main cast. Yeah.
Well, the thing is that with Rooster Teeth, I'm always expecting them to get better because that's what they do.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like it has. Like Ruby Volume 1, I didn't mind so much. I mean, the animation has a long way to go. But the story itself was okay. It just sounds like, from what I've been hearing, it's just tanked in season 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they had other opportunities outside of John, honestly. Like, they had a good start with Blake and like her obsession on trying to find out what the White Fang was up to and why they were doing it, and then they resolved it so that they can continue with John, basically. Like, they had the episode and a half, I think, dedicated to trying to get Blake to get some rest so that she can have fun at the party the next day, basically.
Yeah.
And then now that she has had her rest and she's dancing with Sun, now we can go back to John and figure out why he and Weiss are not together yet.
Oh, and then we can go to like Jean and Pyrrha.
Oh, Pyrrha. I love Pyrrha. I feel bad for Pyrrha for having such a ridiculous teammate. Really. And I really liked what they delved into a little bit with how people idolize her so much because of her strength and how she's like excelled and everything like that, and how she hates being put on that pedestal and wants to actually be treated like everybody else, basically. And I really like that insight on Pyrrha.
Yeah.
And then it went on to how she appreciated that John didn't even know who she was, and then I think it kind of just threw the limelight into John again.
Yep.
They're just not handling it well, and Monty's not handling the criticism well, but then Monty never does.
No. I'm gonna try to continue watching the show just to see what happens at this point. It's solely for that sake, because I'm going to probably throw something across my room if it continues being about John. If the next episode, I swear to God, is about John, I'm not going to continue watching this show, actually.
Yeah.
Because I don't want that. I want to know what happened to Yang and her mom. I want to know what's going on with Ruby and how she felt about all of this. And I want there to be more to Weiss than to her just be part of a romantic plot.
Yeah.
I want to know more about what's going on with her relationship with her father.
And her sister.
And her sister. And give me more Team Ruby. Give me more of Team Ruby rather than all about John. Please.
Especially because there's a lot that still needs to be done, like, between Weiss and Blake and their whole relationship and all that. Because that's not been solved. That was not solved at the end of at Volume 1. That was patching over something that's going to need a lot more time and discussion and development into it.
Yeah, because the idea is that she's not on good terms because of who Blake used to be, because it's compromised her father's company so much. I wouldn't figure that. I mean, at first she kind of turned around and was concerned about her as a teammate, but is she concerned about her as a friend? And I want to see more of that. I want to see more of, does she consider what they have a friendship, or is it just purely teammates?
Yeah, as well as Weiss having to deal with the fact that basically she's racist.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should be thinking about packing it up or finishing. But I did want to mention the fact that I might be getting 2 cats.
Oh.
Well, I'm not hugely keen on the idea because we only lost one a couple of months ago to the road outside.
Yeah.
But it's literally a case of they're going to be destroyed in 2 weeks. So.
Oh.
Michael said, "Went over to me. I want a cat."
Well, we're gonna take both of them, so we probably are.
Aww.
If no one else takes them. But the big concern there is that what do you do if they do? I mean, they come from a house of 6 other cats and 4 dogs, so they are used to dogs and cats.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully it'll be okay. But it's if they don't get on with the other animals, it's not like we can go no, you can't stay here. You're going to be put down now. So
Yeah.
So that's always the risk when you're taking these kind of cats on.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I hope things turn out okay for them.
Well, yeah, and they're only just getting done this week as well, and they're 2 years old, so
Oh.
that's a bit late to fix them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we can wrap up now because I want to go get my dinner. I'm going to have some chicken soup on behalf of Amy.
All right.
Okay, do we have anything we want to plug? How's your podcast going and your stuff, Ali?
We actually had to put a pause on it because a lot of things came up, and we currently cannot continue doing the podcast, but we are going to kind of go and do our own vlogs and upload that onto the channel so that it's like everybody can do their part. I'm excited to hopefully get the channel back up and running because we kind of had a little hiatus, but
yeah, I noticed that I hadn't seen anything from you for a while.
Yeah, so. Things come up, but I mean, we've got like good ideas still waiting to be put up, and we have a whole like video that we recorded of me playing Super Mario Sunshine on my birthday that I want to hopefully post. So yeah.
Okay.
Cool. I know that Hodgins, which is someone who was a guest on the podcast a while ago, they've started up a YouTube channel, and I'll link dump it if I can find it. That's something that people might want to check out. What about you, Shelley?
Well, I've got one, which is that I'm getting really close to 100 followers now. I'm at 94 as of the recording.
You're coming on, Shelley.
Yep. So I'm planning when I get 100 to do a giveaway.
Oh, Shaddy, I'm so excited for you.
The giveaway will what I'm planning on for it actually is because I don't have any like artistic talents in terms of drawing or sculpting or even necessarily like writing. What I'm planning on doing instead is whoever wins the giveaway gets to design an NPC for a D&D game.
Oh, sweet.
And I'll do a full write-up like I did the one for you, Allie, for your birthday.
For my birthday.
Yep, I'll do a full write-up for the NPC with stats and everything, and they'll get an actual, like, a role in an ongoing campaign I run. Not just, like, a brief cameo where they show up in the background, like an actual role where they'll be interacting with the party.
Do it, trust me. When he did it for me, it was really cool. Everybody should do it. Go follow Shaddy, too, because he blogs a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting but hopefully by the time we record the next podcast that'll happen. But I've got 4,375 followers.
Jesus Christ.
I really want to take a screen capture when I get 4444. Now I miss 3333, so I'm hoping I get 4444.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna wait until you say that you're close to 4444, and then I'm gonna unfollow, and then I'm gonna wait for the numbers to come in, and then I'm gonna refollow so that I'm 4444.
See, no, I won't blog about it because I don't like boasting about how many followers I have.
God damn it! You gotta let me know, Michael, so I can be 4444.
I'm hoping I'm just not sleeping when it happens.
Oh yeah. No.
I suppose I should do a giveaway when I hit 5,000.
One other thing I quickly want to signal boost as well is a friend, Shar, on Tumblr, who's doing some commissions. He does artwork that's like these little, they're kind of Kirby-like figures that he calls Carricks.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'll put a link with it in that you can get like a $10 pencil sketch of like a character in this like little character or the figure in that, and they're really cool. So I mean, I just figured I'd signal boost that so he can possibly get some commissions his way.
Shout out to Rue, who's packing right now. I love you, Rue.
Actually, I think Rue's on the way to Plymouth, or in Plymouth possibly by now.
Shout out to Rue, who's on his way to Plymouth right now. And shout out to Wiz, who's listening to the podcast. I love you.
Hi, Wiz.
Yes, I love you,
Wiz. Wiz, I haven't done this in a while. Ryan Haywood's arms.
Ryan Haywood's arms.
Indeed. Yes.
Oh, God.
Anyway, okay, right, stopping now.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes. Bye, everyone. Thank you for listening. Bye.
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 I love you, Wiz.
Tease it. Django. Tease it.
You might want to pause a minute because my dogs are going to bark.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm hearing it.
Puppies. Oh, goodness. Oh, my God. It sounds like a music beat.
Puppy, fuck off. Boy. Oh, that's it. You just trample all over everything. Just... Really? I keep instant porridge stuff, and she's just throwing it all over the room.
Oh no!
Wow.